Hello there! Today I want to show you the new particle system in Ars Nouveau. So we're going to start with a simple light spell. We've got projectile, conjure mage light. We're calling it light. And then over here you'll see the spell style button now brings up this menu. On the left side we have the menu to control all of the various aspects, and on the right we can select from which particles we want to change. And then when we click on one of these, that'll change the side. So we can change the body of a projectile and add an actual model. So this will be like a cubic model. And we're going to have that as cyan. On spawn, so like at the place where the spell is cast, we can have that create a burst of particles as well. So let's add, let's say, Sonic Boom particle and skulk clicking to the on spawn burst. Make that cyan. And the radius for the burst radius, I believe that tells you where within the block space like the randomization of that burst can happen. So I like to keep that radius tight so that it's always in the center, so 5 or 10. And then the trail line, so this will create particles that will follow the projectile. By default, it'll be just a line, but we also have spiral, helix, wave, and zigzag. And in there we can change the particles. You'll see that I've already got a few favorited, some of the ones that I like, but there's quite a bit of particles. Basically any particle that is inside of Minecraft we have access to. And we can also change the color. So we're going to change the trail here. We're going to change this to helix because I quite like helix, and it has actually 2 particles that it accepts. So I'm going to change both of these to mycelium. I'm going to make one of them cyan and the other one black. And now here in the particle spawning menu for helix, the radius controls how close the helix's orbit around the center. And the particle speed, I'm not actually sure what this does to the helix part, but this will alter the initial momentum that the projectiles will have when they spawn. Now they do have some initial momentum based off of the Minecraft projectile that they are. Some of them might have it, some of them might not, but you can alter it here. We're not going to touch that for now. And then there's on impact, there's another burst. So that by default will happen. And we can also add a sound there. So if you want a sound to play when it hits, like say the end portal fill, I'm quite fond of that one. And we can give it a particle, which, let's say totem of undying. These ones have a lot of gravity and last a fairly decent amount of time. And the particle spawning, again, this is a burst, so this is not that important. I don't really want to touch that. And we're going to change the color to cyan, because again, we like cyan. And then the bottom here, we have a flare. So the flare will say none by default. I've been messing with the screen a little bit. And this can add an additional trail to your projectile. So this is how we mix and match the different types. So by default, or for now, we're just going to go with a line here. We're going to make that line, let's say, let's go down. Let's give it enchanted hit. I'm going to make this black. And then the particle spawning. So on a line, the radius, that will affect how close to the center of the block the particles are spawned at. So with a radius of 0.5, the particles will be able to spawn anywhere within the block limit. We're going to bring that down though, because I want this to be a little bit closer. So we're going to bring that down to 10 for a line. Okay, so we're going to see how that one looks. Firing it into these spell prisms. So that's a pretty neat thing, but I'm gonna actually, I think I'm gonna remove that model. I actually think it works a little bit better without them. Maybe I'm just used to them not having it. But yeah, so we've got this neat little projectile flying around. And now, but we haven't configured the Mage Light yet. So by default, the Mage Lights will still look like they always have. And we can change it over here. So we've got a couple options. So there's light, there is brazier, so we can have them look like the fires that are on a ritual brazier, or a wisp, which is a little ball that will sort of hover around the block space. But we're going to go ahead and mess with the light. So if we change this to, say, instant effect, I like this one. We have the particle spawning by default is 10 with a 20 per second. The speed gives them some initial momentum. And so now we've got this neat little effect here. So, and an important thing is the radius here. This actually will control how close to the center the particles can spawn, just like with the line. And so with a radius of 0.5, they'll be able to fill the entire block space that they are inside of. And you can actually go all the way up to 1.0 and have that radius extend halfway into the next block space. Alrighty, so now, armed with that knowledge, you can now go and spend entirely too long on every single spell, just like I do. Well, happy spellcrafting!